Welcome to the Herd's official YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Colin Cowherd podcast, all of our NFL instant reactions, and more football content.
Well, he has been one of the mavericks in sports, certainly in the last 20 years, UFC president and CEO. He's now so iconic, he's doing Dodge Ram commercials. I saw that last night. Our friend Dana White is joining us here on a Tuesday in the Herd. Long time no talk. It's great to see you again. And you've made yourself, most of these commissioners, you don't really want to hear from them that much, but you're out there, you put yourself out there with all the time. It could be politics, it could be sports, it could be football. I would imagine it's been good for your business.
Yeah, business is good. Yeah. Business is very good.
So in my entire life, boxing's been pay-per-view. You now have a deal with Paramount where you're like, listen, we're going to move off, from what I can tell, the pay-per-view model. I like that for the fans. My takeaway is finally somebody rewards the fans. I buy your pay-per-views all the time. They were about $65, something like that. I also go to your fights. But when you made that decision, it's counter to what boxing and UFC has been my entire life, which is mostly pay-per-view stuff for the big stuff. Why the decision, and is there any risk to it?
Well, the world is changing now. I mean, all these streaming services. Here's the thing about a streaming service. You can have tons of great programming. I can go watch it whenever I want to.
Right.
But live sports, you have to tune in at a certain time. And I was waiting for the moment. I knew that they were all eventually going to need live sports. And now you see them doing deals with the NFL, NBA, and now us. It's just been an evolution, as cable continues to, nosedive.
Yeah, so you're promoting your first boxing match. Now, we talked about this before. You grew up in Boston. I was a boxing guy in Vegas. You now live in Vegas. So my first job out of college was in Vegas. I watched Hagler Hearns. I was a Pacific Northwest kid. I moved to Vegas. I fell in love with boxing. I watched Ali, or you'd hear stuff as a kid, but we didn't really have boxing, where I grew up. You were a boxing fan, and I always kind of waited for you. My takeaway was, I would argue you kind of ended boxing, and then you create TKO, and you go into boxing. So is that telling me that boxing still has a life?
Yeah, every time you think that boxing's dead, a big fight will pop up again. But it's every once in a blue moon. We at the UFC, we go every Saturday, pretty much every Saturday, right, all year. And boxing is, here and there. So I'm promoting this Crawford fight this weekend.
Probably the best fight in 5 to 6 years. I would say Canelo Alvarez is the fighter of his generation. He's a 4-division champion.
Yep.
Never been knocked down.
I agree. I love this fight. And the fact that Crawford is willing to risk moving up in weight to fight him. This is, if you're a fight fan, this is the stuff
Crawford's
you love.
Crawford's never lost. Tough childhood. Been willing to put on weight. Again, he's a knockout guy. 76% of his fights are knockouts. This is as good as boxing. To me, in the last 5 years, this is probably the best fight.
I agree.
I think it's the best fight.
I love this fight. I forgot where the hell I was going with that, but yeah.
What is the difference promoting UFC and boxing?
No real difference. As long as you're putting up. Oh, that's what I was. So I'm doing the Canelo Crawford fight for Sheikh Turki. Then in 26. I'm gonna start my own, I guess we call it a league in boxing. Basically, what I want to do is I want to build talent. Like tonight, I have a show on called the Contender Series, which I absolutely love. Tuesday nights. I take the best unsigned guys in the world. They face each other that night, and I decide who gets a UFC contract. And basically, that's what I want to do with boxing too. I want to take these up and coming guys, 10-0, 12-0, and a 10-0 fights a 12-0. And like the undercard of Canelo versus Crawford. The undercard is excellent. Like the UFC, when, people show up for the first fight of the night, not just the main event, it's going to be that kind of a fight this weekend in Vegas. So the whole undercard is incredible, not just the main event.
Well, Nick Khan, who you know very well, and you, Dana White, both are in the business of accumulating talent and finding guys before the rest of the market moves. I have a little podcast company. We do the same thing. It's exhilarating. There's nothing better than share somebody's ride.
I agree.
It's just unbelievable. So when it's interesting. Like a lot of times on TikTok, I go to a lot of business guys. yourself, a Jeff Bezos. It can be a Mark, I think it's Andreessen or Anderson.
Yeah.
And really smart guys, Mark Zuckerberg. I'm looking for, I guess, the thread among successful business people. This is the thread I always hear. Amazon didn't make money the first 20 years. Is that I don't think people understand. You had a lot of headwinds. I mean, at one point, UFC, John McCain wanted it off cable. And I always look at your rise, and I don't think people understand how hard it is. Was there ever a time in your rise that the headwind, you had the Fertittas behind you. Was there ever a time, though, that you woke up and thought, is this thing going to work? Am I going to get a week of good news? What was the point that was hardest for Dana White?
I always thought it was going to work. Just is the timing right? It was the question. And there was a time, Lorenzo called me one day and said, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep pumping this money into this thing. Go out and see what we could sell this for. So I started calling around that day, and I came back to him that night and said, probably $7 or $8 million, when we were probably 40 million in at that time. Maybe 30-something million. I don't remember exactly.
How'd you convince him?
Huh?
How'd you convince him to stay in?
I didn't. I just told him that, and he said, okay, I'll call you tomorrow. He literally called me the next morning when I was driving to work and said, F it. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So we did, and, thank God, here we are today.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty remarkable. When you, when you look at right now at UFC, I've always thought the hardest thing in your job, and I don't know if there's any luck involved, but finding the next Jon Jones, who I think is the best fighter I've ever seen in UFC. I would say probably pound for pound, probably the best.
In my opinion, yes.
Yeah.
As you look at boxing and where it is now, everybody's undefeated, right? You have all these guys that are undefeated because they won't fight anybody. Now, in the UFC, whatever division you're in, you fought the toughest guys all the way up to become a world champion. And Jon Jones did that for the last however many years, and he's still undefeated. Yeah. So, yes.
So when and I've asked you this before, but I think it's compelling, and I think you're going to find this in boxing. Boxing feels and UFC feels to me so global. Is there ever a moment when is there talent aplenty? Is it just for Dana White to find it? Or are there cycles where, like, it's dry, that you go 6 months and you can't find talent?
No, I wouldn't say that. But, and especially as the sport gets bigger, there's more and more people that realize now they can make millions of dollars fighting.
Right.
So, yeah, there was a point in time. There was a point in time when that was the case, but not now. There's plenty of talent out there.
It's interesting. You used to come to California all the time. We barely get you out here anymore.
It's true.
There's a lot of people that
we were just talking about that. I was just talking about that with my crew when we were coming in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a different time. There's a lot of pushback. There's a lot of things happening in the country when you embrace Trump, that's your audience. I've been to UFC fights. I've been there twice when he's there. People love him. They go crazy. Did you ever worry when you did this, we're such a tribal, polarizing country, this could be bad for business? Did you ever worry for a minute about that?
Well, Trump and I have been friends for, 25 years. So it's not like...
oh, yeah, that's right.
It's not like I was getting political and choosing a side or anything. This guy's my friend. He's been my friend forever. So it wasn't really that way for me. And he's a huge UFC fan. Yeah. And he came to the UFC before he even thought about running for president.
Yeah.
He would be at the events and held the events at the Taj Mahal in New Jersey. So, no, this guy is just a person who's been a friend of mine for a long time. And he's a huge fan of not just UFC, but of fighting, period. I mean, all the big fights he held at the Taj in Atlantic City back in the day. It wasn't really a political move for me.
You and Trump have something in common. You don't sleep much. You're a live concert, live event, moving all the time. There's almost an innate energy with you that this is who you are. Were you always this guy? Were you always like burn 24/7? You're like a human Red Bull. Was it always like that?
Yeah. I can tell you this though. He's 79 years old. He's way worse than me. He never sleeps ever. I mean, this guy will call me at night and it's 2:00 in the morning. on the East Coast, and he'll hit me again in the morning, and he's up already. He never sleeps. It's crazy. So I'll get 4 or 5 hours a night, and I'm good. I saw a guy on Joe Rogan saying anybody that tells you that they sleep 4 or 5 hours a night, they're full of crap. No, dude, you're full of crap. I literally sleep 4 or 5 hours a night, and I can tell you right now, Donald Trump sleeps less.
By the way, my staff I take magnesium when I go to bed because I'm a lousy sleeper. 5 hours, maybe 5.5. I can't. My eyes are wide open. I can't sleep anymore. So whatever it is, it is.
I'm with you.
You are having a White House UFC. Is it next summer?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is interesting because I had a friend once that was #1 at Air Force, and I think it was Reagan spoke. He goes, "You cannot believe the security with the president. Like, you don't even understand what it's like." Literally 1 minute before dinner, they changed all the glasses in case there was poisoning. Yeah. And he said, so my takeaway is, this is a big event. You're going to have a president there. Do you already have to plan that now? I mean, how far in advance?
Yeah. So we went to the White House last week, me and my team, and we had the first meeting with him where we laid out all the renderings and we started to get him to sign off on what he likes and doesn't like, and he loved it. So yeah, now we're diving in head first. Now all the work starts. But you're right. But this is the first time. This last time I was at the White House, I went up on the roof of the White House, and they got snipers with 50 cals all over the roof of the White House, and it's pretty crazy. But yes, I mean the security is going to be a massive issue because at the end of the day, Secret Service's job is to protect the president, and I don't know how it's going to work out as far as having people there live on the lawn of the White House. It'll be under 5,000 though, but I can't remember what they call it. There's a park that's connected to the White House. We could put 85,000 people over there with screens, and we're going to put a big stage out there and do concerts, and we're going to take over Washington D.C. that whole week. So
when this fight this weekend's Allegiant. Okay.
Yes.
And I think ideally you'd like to be in Vegas, McCarran or Harry Reid Airport. Now it's easy to get in. It's the weather's almost always good. You don't have to worry about flight delays. With the UFC, are there still states that you'd like to go in that push back, or is the world open? Do you have a second favorite venue? Is there a venue you've never had a fight that you're in? I mean, you took it to an island during COVID. So where is the place that you want to go that haven't? And are you still accepted virtually everywhere?
Yeah, the world is wide open for UFC. We haven't been to Spain yet. I mean, this Saturday, I have 2 fights. I have UFC Noche and San Antonio, Texas, which is sold out. We broke the record for the gate. And the boxing event this weekend is the #3 all-time boxing event. #1 is Mayweather-Pacquiao. #2 is McGregor-Mayweather, and #3 is Canelo Crawford.
Okay, so I was at the first 2. I want to circle back to this because it's worth noting. If you don't follow boxing and you're sitting here thinking Saturday night, the college football game you wanted to watch was in the afternoon. Canelo Alvarez has held the title in 4 divisions. That's unheard of. Most of us grew up with Ali. He was a heavyweight. He wasn't going down. 4 different. He's never been knocked out, never been knocked down. But Crawford is 19-0 in world title fights. Unbelievable story. My take on this, it may not be Hagler-Hearns first round, but it will be a fairly aggressive fight. Do you have a sense of what it will look like? And do you usually with fights?
I agree. I think that, Crawford has taken this fight to prove that he's, one of the greatest of this generation. And I think he's going to be very aggressive. I think he's going to go after Canelo. And, Canelo is an unbelievable counterpuncher, great head movement, and powerful. I think that this fight's going to be a war. I think that it's what I love about being a part of this promotion. I think that the fight's going to be great, and the whole undercard is going to be great. I think people are going to turn off their TVs on Saturday and be happy they stayed at home and watched it. Which means everything to me.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's I am a regular UFC watcher, and I buy for years pay-per-view. So the Paramount deal for me is a win. I think it's always a win. I've talked about this with broadcasters before. I don't want to be behind a pay-per-view. I mean, even there was a time Howard Stern everywhere, and then you disappear behind a wall. I mean, everybody's charging for something. Give me something I can just turn on the TV and get.
Well, I love being with the Ellisons. You know, they're obviously very smart guys, great businessmen, and very aggressive. So I'm looking forward to being in business with these guys for the next 7 years.
So you, when you go look at your life and your career, of all the people you've dealt with, and you've dealt with business leaders, global leaders, politicians, are you ever surprised? Do any of these people, you ever meet your match? Do you ever think to yourself, you walk out of a room and think, man, if I could hire that guy, I would hire that guy? Because you're dealing with industry leaders, a lot of alphas, very aggressive people. I mean, when's the last time you were blown away?
Well, let me tell you this. I got the answer to that question. So Mark Zuckerberg reached out to me and asked me to be on the board of Meta, right? Now, I would never imagine that I would want to be on the board of anything. But when you look at Meta as a business and as a company, when you go in to one of these board meetings, and they start at like 8:30 in the morning. And first of all, the board of Meta, just the people they have on there are all just absolutely brilliant and badass. And when Zuckerberg comes in and starts running this meeting, I am literally on the edge of the seat the whole time listening to
he's changing the world,
what they're doing and the level that they're doing it at. What blew me away is that I would be so into, you know, this thing starts at 8:30 in the morning and we end at 5:30 at night, these board meetings. And he's got every minute dialed in. He knows everything about the company inside and out. His CFO is unbelievable. She's brilliant. And she comes in and goes toe-to-toe with the Wall Street guys. It's absolutely fascinating and one of my favorite things to do, which I would never in a million years dream I would be that into it.
Well, congrats on that. You are known as an aggressive, is it poker or 21? What do you play?
Well, I'm playing Baccarat these days.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're aggressive.
I'm aggressive.
And you just walk in and you're going for it. Is there any casino that has said, Dana, you're too good, there's too much money, our margins are slim?
Well, it's not that I'm too good. What they do is I have a style where I come in and I want to bet as much. I want to bet $1 million a hand. I'm working on it right now with MGM. MGM might actually let me do this. Yeah. And one night, me and Michael Rubin. So
Fanatics.
So he and I together, one night, only $1 million a hand. I'm working on that right now, on that deal.
Oh, were you always a risk taker? Is this just who you are?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's who you are. So again, Allegiant, you have two events. You have one in San Antonio and one in Vegas.
Yes.
Which one needs you more?
I think listen, the UFC is a well-oiled machine. We go every Saturday. What I'm looking for on Saturday night for Canelo Crawford is, you know, I can tell you right now, the television production will be amazing. It'll be perfect. It'll be great. What I'm looking for is the live event. You know, we're in a stadium, which I don't love stadium fights because I feel like, you know, you're watching two ants fight on a matchbook.
Right.
So we have to make sure that the people do not have that experience. They have a much better experience live. VIP, you know, you get to your seats, you know, you're ticketed and they get you right in, sit you down. I want everything to go smooth with the live event. You know, when you think about the live event, people fly in from around the world.
That's right.
In other states, they have to get a hotel room, they bought tickets, they got to pay for the restaurants. It's expensive. So I always, it's a big deal to me that the live event, the people who show up have an amazing experience. I went to a boxing match a few years ago, and it was a horrible experience. So that's a big deal to me on Saturday.
Vegas has struggled year to year, last several years. I've got my beliefs why. How does Vegas turn it around? They have not been on a good 2 to 3 year roll economically.
That's total BS, man. You know, this whole narrative right now about Vegas, Vegas is always doing well. Vegas is booming. This weekend, there's going to be over 60,000 people coming in for this fight in Vegas. And that's just one event. You know, Bruno Mars plays there all the time. His show is great. His show is incredible, actually. And many, many other things to do in Vegas. So everybody's always counting Vegas out. That's ridiculous.
The restaurant, I always say this. If you know, when I got to Vegas, I was out of college. It was like 86, 87. The Rebels, Jerry Tarkanian, Steve Wynn. You didn't have pro sports. There was a stigma that was all nonsense. I said that for years. UFC didn't exist. There were boxing matches. It was Don King and Bob Arum. But I used to always say this, is people don't understand how good of a food town it is because everything starts in Vegas.
So true.
It's like every great restaurant that ever franchises, and I mean the high-end stuff. If I said to you, you're going to Vegas for a weekend, you're lucky, you just got a bonus at work. Somebody's watching this, that you can fly in to watch Canelo Alvarez and Crawford, and you can have one meal in Vegas. Where would you eat?
Carbone.
Oh, the Italian place.
Yeah, it's incredible.
That's in...
Incredible, always consistent. The service is off the charts, and if you have to wait, they got a great bar, too. It's a great restaurant. I love Carbone's. But, like, you know, when I was growing up in Vegas and when you were there, you know, Vegas was buffets or, you know, 99-cent breakfasts and things like that. Now it's all the best restaurants in the world there. Best restaurants, the best shopping. You know, now there's live sports there, you know, and when people are talking about Vegas, the Raiders are playing again. So, you know, all their home games are going to be sold out and packed and people coming in from all over the country. And if you're a fan of the Patriots, right, and there's an away game that you're going to go to, you're going to the Vegas away game.
That's what we said for years.
100%. You fly in on Thursday, you know, have a blast, go to the game on Sunday, and then fly home.
By the way, I know you were torn. Vegas against New England. Who were you rooting for?
I'm not torn at all. It's New England.
Okay, you're
not torn at all.
Do you know Vrabel?
Lost. We just lost Sunday to the Raiders.
Oh, do you know Vrabel?
No, we know.
Oh, he's a butt kicker.
Yeah, I heard.
Oh, there's no nonsense with Vrabel.
I heard.
Sharp as a tack. Great.
Well, I'm close to Max Crosby, so if we're going to get beat
is there
by
anybody,
anybody, at least it's Max Crosby.
Nobody better in the league than Max Crosby.
Love him.
Great guy. Hey, congrats. We'll be watching the fight. Haven't seen you in a while. You look fantastic.
Thank you, brother. You too.
Yeah, we're doing okay. Back in a second. It's The Herd.